was basically dead. So it stopped halfway through me writing the tune, and then it wouldn't let me upload a tune again. What's going on, guys? Dan here with the Regular Guy Garage. Lately I've actually been getting a lot of support for the FBody content, so I'm actually going to keep it coming here. So lately I've had this nagging issue with the car ever since I got it tuned. The car's been running great, but as soon as I put it in park, the idle shoots up really high and it actually starts to climb. After a little bit of research, I actually found out that this is a pretty common problem and one that not a lot of people have actually figured out how to fix. Alright guys, so if you can see these two hose clamps right here, that PVC hose is actually one that causes a huge problem on these cars, because what ends up happening is the hoses there get kind of dry rotted and crack, and especially behind the manifold, and then it starts letting unmetered air actually into the intake manifold and causes it to have a high idle. And actually looking at it, I noticed I forgot to plug in one of my valve cover breathers. Alright, so got the valve cover breather hose hooked back up. So basically this, that right there, it's just kind of a homemade thing I threw together. I got some hoses and stuff, and the actual hoses that I had there originally had a pretty big hole in it, so I had to change it anyway. But then what I went ahead and did is, so this right here is actually a Y connector that connects some other tubing that runs back behind the intake manifold, and I had thought that why I was having a high idle is because this right here, I don't know if you can see it, well, you can't see it right now, but it's kind of dry rotted and there's actually a hole. So I went ahead, got some tubing, I got some 3/8 hose and a couple T's, and I changed that whole PCV setup. So it's all new hoses. Now the problem is that didn't actually fix the high idle. I still had a high idle, so then I had to go back and do some research and then try and troubleshoot a couple more things. So what ended up was actually causing the issue with the high idle on my car was the idle air control valve, which kind of figures, because aside from all the other little things that I tried, which was I took the intake manifold off, I went ahead and fixed the PCV hosing like I said, then I retorqued the intake manifold down, I changed the throttle position sensor, because that was really all the cheap stuff, and then I figured lastly, let me go ahead and try the $120 idle air control, and what do you know, that actually fixed it. So this is what I'm talking about right here, the idle air control solenoid valve, whatever it is. That was the issue that was causing the engine to idle significantly high. The problem is, once I fixed it, then all of a sudden, the way the tune was set, the car was idling severely low. So I went ahead, messed with the tune a little bit, got it to the point where I actually like it. The car sounds fine. The idle doesn't creep up above 1,000 anymore. It keeps the idle right around the target RPM that I set it at. So let's go ahead and listen to what it sounds like now compared to what it sounded like last night. Alright guys, so as you can see right now, the car is idling right at about 850, between 8 and 850, which is right where I have the target RPM set at. Before I changed this idle air control valve, this thing was at 1,000 or higher, sometimes 1150, and it would throw a check engine code every time. So got the idle air control fixed, raised the RPM a little. It was down in the low like 600-700s before, got it up to about 850. When I put it into gear, it actually does kind of almost want to die out a little bit. I'll probably take it back to Carl and see if maybe, you know, he can do maybe a little more tweaking with it or whatever, but I just wanted to get it to the point where it was drivable. I'll go ahead and throw it in drive right now and see. It kind of Now that the car's actually warmed up, it's a little better than it was before. Before, when I would throw it in gear, it would just want to die completely. What I want to do is just take it for a ride. We'll do a little wide open throttle pull, you know, show you guys, you know, it's definitely not the fastest car in the world. I mean, it is an F-body, you know, slightly more horsepower than a stock F-body. So there's that kind of little sputter right when I first put it into gear. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and cruise with the windows open. I hope you guys can hear me. I'll go ahead and talk a little bit louder. I said in one of the previous videos, this car definitely needs a torque converter. Sitting here at the light, you can definitely feel it. It's the converter is the stock converter is really tight down low. I think it has like an 1800 stall, and that'll probably be the actual next modification to this car. Is putting, from what I've been researching, these cars like a 3600 stall converter. All right, so we got a little on-ramp for the highway here. Go ahead and do a little pull. Go ahead and roll the windows up so you can hear me. Suffer a little bit with the heat. So the car's not incredibly fast by any means. But, I mean, it's still fun. I mean, it's still enjoyable. It still gets up and goes pretty good, actually. Now, one problem that I actually do have with the car right now, not a huge problem, but I'm sure a pretty common problem with these, especially when you put long tube headers on them, is the header bangs against the floorboard. You probably can't hear it in the video. I can not only hear it, but I can actually feel it ding in the floorboard a little bit under my foot when I actually mash the throttle. It really only does it under heavy throttle conditions, especially wide open throttle. Now, I have data logged it, and actually the engine hasn't pulled timing, thankfully. But there's always that possibility of the engine could pull timing thinking that there's knock from the header tapping the floorboard a little. So, I mean, either knock sensors aren't working or it just isn't that sensitive to where it's going to pull timing for that small tap on the floorboard. What I will most likely do, but I'm not looking forward to doing, is a set of polyurethane engine mounts. This engine, I just threw in a brand new set of just regular stock motor mounts. Issue being, before this had an aluminum block, and now it's got an iron block, so we're carrying a substantial amount more weight. So I think the engine flexing a little bit is just what's causing that long tube to tap the bottom of the car. Another thing too, I don't know if you've noticed in some of the videos, the exhaust actually does kind of shake a little bit when I show the mufflers. And it's because I actually don't have the hanger that connects the exhaust to the transmission. I have the piece that actually connects to the transmission, but from the exhaust to the trans, I don't have that. So, but I mean, honestly, I'm really, really happy with this build. Like I said, it's a beautiful day, windows down, cruising. Now that the car's running good, no check engine lights, all the lights work. I mean, all the little things. This dude in the Mustang sitting halfway out in the road. Way to go, pal. And that's not a knock against Mustang dudes, because everyone knows that I love Mustangs, but come on, man. Something about it too when you actually put your own hands on your car. I know not everyone has that ability, so definitely not knocking against people who can't work on their own cars. I can just sit and listen to that idle all day too. I know everyone loves seeing big power. I love big power myself, but I'm also I also really enjoy just building these things so that they sound good, give them a little bit of a horsepower boost, and then just enjoy them for what they are. Like I was saying, sometimes cars are just, they're made the way they are, and as much as you really do want to upgrade them, and like I said, this is a drag car project, so when I actually am able to finish the work on the green car, I want to start building this thing up so that, you know, it's basically just drag race only. So like I said, I built it for, like in previous videos, I built the engine specifically to hold either boost or lots of nitrous. So that will be happening, but for now, I mean, it is just a lot of fun. Like I said, just enjoy the car for what it is, what it was built for. All right, long drive, let's see how she idles. Now before, this thing would be way up in the 1100 RPM range. Right now I'm sitting at about 850. That's what I commanded it in the, that's what the target idle that I set with the HP tuners. And yeah, we're holding right at, it's probably bouncing anywhere between 825 and 870, it looks like. I'm happy with it. Well, for the FBody guys, like I said, I was planning on just shifting over to the green stuff, but I did get a lot of support for the FBody content, so I will make sure I keep it coming. And I enjoy working on it too. I mean, as frustrating as it is sometimes, like I kind of said, I really enjoy working on this car. It's just such a good feeling when you put your hands on your own car. And I mean, I'm not a mechanic by profession. I'm a mechanic by hobby. I mean, but anyway guys, I hope you like this video. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. If you don't follow me on Instagram, at Regular Guy Garage, I try and post on there as often as I can. Thanks for watching. As always, take care. We'll see you on the next one.